All right, let's dive right into this explainer and unravel the true story of Michael Scott. We are looking at a man whose life completely blurs the line between historical fact and legendary magic. Honestly, if you're fascinated by history's unsolved mysteries, you are going to absolutely love this one.
It's a question that's puzzled historians for literally centuries. Why? Well, because this single figure is credited with both mastering incredibly complex Arabic mathematics and, allegedly, boiling a rival warlock alive. I mean, we're talking about a guy renowned across Europe for his genius, yet whispered about in dark corners for supposedly teaching the dark arts.
What's wild here is how the whole Wizard of the Borders legend kind of just completely overshadows the very real, highly educated polymath. On the left, you've got these crazy local myths, like how he supposedly split Ildon Hill into 3 distinct cones just to tire out a demon, or summoned a sudden rainstorm at a fancy banquet in Palermo. But then on the right, you have the documented reality, a brilliant scholar who studied in Oxford, Paris, and Toledo, with a firm grasp of both medicine and mathematics.
Let's trace his journey chronologically to see how he built this dual legacy. Born in the Scottish borders around 1175, he traveled a ton, ultimately soaking up advanced Arabic knowledge in Toledo, Spain. And by 1220, his expertise caught the eye of Frederick II, ruler of the Holy Roman Empire, who basically scooped him up to be his science advisor and court astrologer.
Section 1. Science at the Imperial Court. So, the crucial point here is that Emperor Frederick didn't just want a court magician doing cheap parlor tricks. He demanded real, hard, practical science from his scholars.
Frederick was, a pretty demanding boss. Scott was put right to work. He was undertaking complex astrolabe calculations to measure towers, standardizing commerce with strict rules for weights and measures, and even sent out on field expeditions to explore the volcanic depths of the Lipari Islands. Talk about a diverse job description.
And it was during those volcanic explorations that Scott made an incredible observation. He realized that the Earth itself basically acted like a giant alchemical pot. As he noted, he suggested that if nature could forge precious metals in that extreme volcanic heat, well, mankind could potentially replicate the process in a lab. He was literally bridging the gap between geology and chemistry.
Section 2. Entrepreneurial Alchemy and Gold. This brings us to a fascinating intersection: how esoteric spells and alchemy became the highly entrepreneurial precursor to actual metallurgy and imperial economics.
And this right here brilliantly illustrates the real-world application of that knowledge. This is the Augustalis. It's a stunningly pure 20.5-carat gold coin introduced by Emperor Frederick in 1231. Modeled after the ancient Roman aureus, it was a massive step up from the irregular coins of the time and, honestly, a brilliant piece of advertising for the emperor's power.
But how did they actually get it that pure? We know Frederick secured raw gold as tribute from North Africa. However, to achieve that extreme 20.5-carat purity for the mints, the empire likely relied heavily on the alchemical expertise of scholars like Skafjagd to perfect some seriously hazardous extraction processes.
It's a dangerous process called mercury amalgamation. You mix mercury with ore, heat it up to vaporize the toxic mercury, and boom, you're left with pure gold. It completely proves that what the medieval world viewed as magic was actually incredibly dangerous hard chemistry. The fumes could literally kill you, but the resulting gold? Flawless.
Section 3. Deciphering the Voynich Manuscript. Now, let's see how all this alchemy builds into an explosive modern theory regarding the ultimate historical cold case.
We've all heard of the Voynich Manuscript. Carbon dated to between 1404 and 1438, it has totally baffled cryptographers for over a century. It's an entirely undeciphered text full of bizarre plants and weird biological-looking plumbing diagrams. Not a single word has ever been universally agreed upon.
Until now, maybe. There's a fascinating new analysis called the Johnson-Voynich translation, and it suggests a radical origin. It proposes the voynich isn't some magical cipher at all. Actually, scratch that, it claims it's a technical apothecary manual based on Michael Scott's protocols, and the trick to reading it, get this, the theory says you literally just rotate the text 180 degrees, upside down.
Look at this master operational glossary generated by the theory. By flipping the script, suddenly we aren't looking at magical incantations anymore. We're looking at a lab ledger. A figure 8 becomes a drachm for weight. AW means chemical stasis. These are precise weights, measures, and resting times for processing potentially toxic botanicals.
Which brings us to this very specific, absolutely crucial number, 1.16. In the context of this theory, it represents the entropy deficit.
Remember those bizarre drawings of biological pipes and tubs? While the theory explains they are actually visual calculators. They help the alchemist figure out how much mass evaporates during boiling. You just subtract that 1.16 factor of mass lost to evaporation from the raw weight, and you find the safe, final medicinal dosage. It's just brilliant in its practicality.
Even the astrological stars are reinterpreted here. They aren't horoscopes. They're thermal heat equations guiding the apothecary's fire. High star density means maximum summer heat for rapid soaking. Low density means cooling, which is absolutely essential for applying a triple stasis to safely stabilize toxic plants like nightshade.
Section 4. The Philosopher's Stone. This brings us to the ultimate prize of the alchemist and the grand finale of these voynich theories. You know that famous massive fold-out rosette map inside the voynich on folio 86V? Under this new theory, it isn't a map of the cosmos at all. It is a literal factory floor plan for chemical refinement. It's a magnum opus flowchart. Step by step, it shows raw materials being harvested in the outer circles, pushed inward through specific 4P process valves, until every single thing converges exactly at the central equilibrium hub. That center point is where the final bottling happens, creating the highly refined medicinal essence we've long known as the Philosopher's Stone. So, what does this all mean? It leaves us to wonder, when we look back at history, are we seeing magic or just science that was wildly ahead of its time? Was Michael Scott, the supposed greatest wizard of the 13th century, really just an unbelievably skilled chemist whose brilliant notes were totally misunderstood by history? It completely changes how we view the past. Take this knowledge, look closely at the mysteries around you, and ask yourself, what else have we been reading upside down?